My guest today is Margaret Lomas of Destiny Financial. Welcome to In Her Shoes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Now, you started your business in 1996.
That's correct.
So you're a long-standing business owner and
Absolutely.
doing very, very well.
In fact, before I started Destiny Financial Solutions, I had my own training company, which I started when I was 25. So I've been in my own business now for 26 years.
So, based on that, I wanted to ask you today a couple of questions about being in business. A lot of our viewers are looking to start their business, or perhaps they're at that point that they go, I have a business, this is now my life, how do I move forward? So let's start with what inspires you to do what you do?
I think for a lot of people and for a lot of women, as you say, suddenly you wake up one day and you're in your own business and you didn't necessarily plan it for it to be that way, and certainly that's what happened with me. I'd been just helping other people with their finances, and next moment we thought it would be a good idea for that to become a business, and suddenly I was running this business without a whole lot of experience. And I think what happened after that, which again would be a story that many people would tell you when they're in their own business, is the business tended to take off despite me. Despite the fact that I had no idea how to run a business, I had no business skills, and I probably didn't have any business financial skills either. And suddenly one day I found myself with a successful business, and I still couldn't have told you how that business really ran. I was a passenger in my own business rather than being a driver of that business. And had you asked me 10 years ago, where do you see your business in 5 years? I, like most people, I think, wouldn't have really been able to clearly articulate that. What inspires me now is that I woke up one day, and it was just after an award that I'd won, and went, how is it that I'm a successful businesswoman and in a successful business, and I'm not really even sure what I'm doing here? It's now time that I actually became the businesswoman that everybody thinks I already am.
That's great.
And I started to then look at how to become a successful business person, because a successful business person can run any business, not just a business that is their own passion. And I think that was a really important part for me. So now I'm very inspired by the thought of being able to take any business and make it a success, because I know how to run a business now.
I want to talk a little bit about that award in a moment, but over the years, what I suspect is that there were particular actions that you took again and again, perhaps in different guises, that led to success. So in looking back, what are some of those things that have worked well for you?
Look, I think probably the thing that makes me a success, and I reckon you will find this same answer from any person who is successful in business or life, is perseverance and passion. Really, they're the two things. If you're not working at something that you are passionate about, then it becomes a job that you don't have a taste for anymore. It gets very difficult to get out of bed and go to work and be excited about the day. The other thing that passion does for you is all businesses will have bad times. I've taken this business through a GFC, through other economic downturns, through staff shortages and crises, and a whole lot of other things. Without the passion for what I was doing, I would have walked away many, many times. I would have given up and said, no, it's just all too hard. So the passion is really important. But perseverance, I guess, is probably a quality that you'll find in most successful people. I remember talking to the fellow who created The Block on television a couple of months ago. I did an interview with him, and he said, every time I get knocked down, I just keep getting back up again, and sometimes I don't know why, but I can't help it. It's become a habit to get back up. And I would have to say the same about me. People ask me, how is it that you do so much? You've got 5 kids. How is it that you fit so much in a day? How is it that other people don't fit so much in a day is what I always ask. Because what else am I doing? It's perseverance. It's every day, just never taking no for an answer, always going that extra mile and doing what other people aren't prepared to do.
In 2006, you were awarded the Telstra Businesswoman of the Year award, and I remember being at the lunch where you were given the award. Tell me, firstly, the role that winning has played. You've given us a little bit of an insight. And then the role of awards. What role can they play in our strategic business planning?
I think most women who win the Telstra Businesswoman of the Year award don't realise that they're going to win it. So it's usually they're the last to know. Most people around them go, yeah, well, we knew you'd win, and you go, I had no idea I'd win. You sit there at the lunch, you look down the list of other finalists, and it's probably your first opportunity to see who they are, and you think, oh my goodness, these are really successful women, why am I in that lineup? And so when you win it, it's just such a shock to you that you don't really know what to do about it. And then a couple of days after that, you get to take stock, and for me, what actually happened, as I alluded to a little earlier, is that after I'd won the award, I came away feeling really bad about it for a couple of days. And I thought, someone's going to ring me up in a couple of days and say, look, sorry, it was a mistake. We realise now that you really aren't a good businesswoman, and we've really stuffed up on this one. We've given the award to the wrong person. We're going to have to take it back. Because I thought they're going to find out pretty soon that I'm not really that good a businesswoman, and that it's all smoke and mirrors. And I might look like one, but I'm hopeless at this. Because I couldn't really, I mean, what I did every day as a businesswoman, I didn't think about. I just did it because it was there, and I didn't really understand that I was successful or even why. So what the awards and winning the award did for me was it gave me the opportunity to sit back and look at myself and say, well, you know what, you really do have a bunch of qualities and attributes there that are good. But it also allowed me to see what I didn't have. And it made me strive even harder. One of the things I think about achievers is that every day achieving is part of their life, and pretty soon you do get a little bit blasé about it, and I think you almost start to think that you're all over it all anyway and there's nothing more for you to do. When you win an award like that, you realise there's actually a big hole in your skill set, and that there are things that you need to do to really live up to what other people think you are. And I set about, from that day forward, filling in those holes, and I think it was great for me in terms of my skills as a businesswoman.
You touched on an area which I find very interesting, and I've had this conversation with Kim Kiyosaki, who's the author of a book called Rich Woman, about how often women feel like they're frauds. Here they are doing amazing things, building businesses, huge real estate portfolios, being best-selling authors, and go, I think you made a mistake.
Exactly.
So, and quite often they won't enter into awards because they're like, no, that's not for me. But what would the benefits be if we did put up our hand and say, maybe I have something to say?
Well, I think the benefits, and I know that most other women who entered the Telstra Awards, we spoke at the time, we all said that the first thing it does is it gives you an opportunity to put down on paper everything you've done and look at it yourself and go, oh my God, because you don't really think about it, especially if you are raising a family at the same time, which many of the women are. Every day is about being a mother just like everybody else, but you've got this whole other life that people don't really acknowledge and that you don't acknowledge. Your business life becomes really almost like your second life, even though it probably takes up just as much or more of your energy. It's the family life, which is the daily stuff that you're concentrating on and making sure, you know, in my case, you know, 5 lunches every day, 5 people into that bus, 5 people off that bus at the end of the day, you know, out the door. And when I think back on that time, of course they're all grown up now, I just think of this giant assembly line that was my life. And somewhere along that assembly line was doing business as well, and all the other the people that I was 1,000 people at any one time. So I think the first thing that entering an award like that does for you, whether you win it or not, is gives you an opportunity to have a look. When you have a look at what you've achieved, it really does help you to then see what your good qualities are, to continue to work on those and maybe even share them with other people, and what things you're missing so that you can fill those in as I did. I think you shouldn't be entering an award because you necessarily want to win it. I think the process of those awards is far more important than the prize.
I find that fascinating, and I know that for many women, you know, tooting your own horn can be very difficult. And do you feel like that undervaluing of our own achievements, is there any purpose in that? Is there any good outcome for that?
I don't think there's any good outcome, but I don't think that I don't know that it's that we deliberately undervalue our own achievements or are modest about them. I think it's just that we don't have the time to think about it. I think we really do become machines in a lot of ways. When you think about it, it's really quite bizarre that women have such high expectations on them and place high expectations on themselves. We want to work in that professional space that has been traditionally a male space, and we do so very well, and in many cases we do so better than a lot of our male counterparts, depending on the work. But while we do that, we don't want to compromise on the traditional female roles.
Right.
So we're actually trying to do both things, which is an enormous mammoth effort. Where in that exists the opportunity for us to go, hey, I'm pretty damn good too. It just, there's not an opportunity. Maybe in the 2 seconds before you fall asleep at night, or in the middle of the night when you wake up and remember that tomorrow I've got a doctor's appointment and an orthodontist appointment, and I have an important board meeting to attend, all in the middle of that. But there's just no opportunity really. So I think we just build a habit of not rewarding ourselves, of not recognising our achievements. I don't think we do so deliberately.
Great. Thank you once again for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.